Hello, Drive Radio fans. Richard Rush here today with my dad, John Rush, behind the camera. And this is the review of the 2016 Nissan Frontier. This is the Pro X version, which we'll show you in just a second. And I don't think you can see it because of the angle, but the beefier tires, a few of the different added features of the Pro X features. This is essentially the top of the line Nissan Frontier model. This model right here it sits as about $35,800, and that includes the Pro 4X luxury package on it and a few other features, which we'll get into as we go throughout the review. But overall, really honestly, a pretty impressive little truck, depending on your style and your preferences. We actually had a caller on the radio this past week, had no idea that we were driving this vehicle, had no clue about that. They just called in to kind of give their opinion of it. They love it. They think for the value, compared to its competitors, it's an incredibly hard truck to beat. So we're going to kind of walk you through some of the features, give you the facts of the Nissan Pro 4 or the Frontier Pro 4X here before we give you our opinion. But overall, a relatively, honestly, great little truck. So with that, well, let's just jump right into the review. We're going to kind of give you up close and personal with it. Really kind of like this golden brown and maroon, whatever you want to call it, sort of a color. Really like that look of it. In our opinion, it's a very nice looking color. What's new for 2016? Well, I just mentioned the color. Some new colors are new, as well as this. They've added the ability to put a sunroof on the SV trim package. And for those of you that are curious, there's 5 trim levels available. We mentioned that this is the Pro X. This is meant to go off-road. This is meant to get dirty. It's got an extra additional 9 inches of ground clearance. Or not additional, but it's got 9 inches of ground clearance, which you won't find. This is an absolutely fantastic truck off-road. We haven't gotten to do it this past week, so we actually had a blizzard here in Colorado, but that's actually a good way of putting it. We had 20 inches of snow in one day. This truck handled everything very, very capably. No issues with that. You'll see the nice Pro 4X badging kind of right there, the sticker. This is the 5-foot box. It's not the 6.1-foot optional box that you can get with the crew cab. They make it in 2 additional. I'm going to kind of step back here real quick, Dad. They make it in 2 cab configurations, the king cab or the crew cab model. So definitely a little bit of a different truck. We'll get into the tailgate here in just a second, right before we hop into the interior. A few other features, and I'm going to use my notes here. What does the Pro 4X give you? Off-road tires that you can see, the upgraded enhanced off-road shocks, locking rear differential, skid plates, automatic headlights, a 5.8-inch touchscreen, 8-way driver seat, and it also does have a power passenger seat, which we're starting to mention for you. Heated front seats, and part of the Pro 4X package is also the 10-speaker, I think it's Roxford Fosgate, I believe is the name of it. It gives you a 10-speaker system, so you can get up and kind of bounce to the tunes, I guess you could say, and some of you can make fun of me for that, but I apologize. So with that, let's actually hop out over kind of to the back, go through the trunk, the bed portion, then we'll hop into the front, and then we'll go on a drive and give you our opinion of the 2016 Nissan Frontier. All right, fans, we're here for the bed portion of the 2016 Nissan Frontier truck. This is their small truck. This doesn't have a soft tailgate by any means. It does have a nice big grab handle right here. So if I were to let it fall, it would fall all the way, whereas some trucks, some competitors do have the nice soft closed tailgate. You put this down, it does have a nice spray and bed liner here, which is really, really fantastic. Has a very good gripping capabilities. You do have this track system, which I'll actually pull out on this side, and you can see, and that gives you the ability to add different cargo hooks that you see on the side there to the bottom of this. And that's one great feature that we really, really like about this truck, is that it gives you a lot of customization and customability in terms of being able to move these hooks at any different points along the truck bed. You can put it along the cab right there, or along the floor. You can actually buy more of these hooks if you need more of them, and definitely capable of doing that. Something else that we'll notice, you can get an optional bed extender that comes out here, keeps your cargo in, so you can put the bed down if you don't want to opt for the bigger 6.1-foot tailgate, or not tailgate, but bed configuration. One other thing I will add, this will fit a full-size dirt bike in the back with this tailgate down. So something to note for those of you that are kind of at a cross between, should I get a half-ton pickup, should I be right here in this kind of the real light duty, these smaller pickups? Well, you'll have to be the judge. I would encourage you to get out, measure these vehicles, and test for yourself. With that, we'll actually kind of hop over here to this side into the back seat. One thing I mentioned at the start of our review, a caller had actually called into the show this past weekend and had mentioned how spacious this was, again, compared to the competitors. How spacious the back seat of this was in terms of comparing it to Toyota, to Chevrolet, GMC, whatever it might be. This is actually, in their opinion, a better back seat than those. So we'll kind of show you what that looks like. This is set for a 5'9", 5'10" driver, myself and my dad. We're right here. I've got plenty of room. I've got probably 1 to 2 inches. Would I want to take a real long road trip in this vehicle? Not sure that's what this is meant for. But if you're going to take a couple buddies camping, want to go up fishing, ATVing, four-wheeling, whatever it is, you could certainly do that with here. There's not really a whole lot of apportionments back here. There's no vents, there's no heated seats, there's nothing of the sort. You do have a window right here, but that is it. You do have a center, let me see if I can pull it down here, a center little console here, but again, no cup holders, just kind of more of an armrest right here. But you do have your cup holders right here, which is, again, a nice feature. So you have cup holders, but you don't have any cigarette ports or any lights right there. One thing I am going to hop out and show you is the under-seat storage. So lift it up, and you have this nice storage, and I believe... Oh, nope, you know what? This actually, Dad, I apologize. This has the bigger system in it, but you do have a little bit of storage, and maybe, I think I can go on the other side. Yep, I can. Hold on. Set that down right here. And you have storage right here. So that, with the 10-speaker Rockford Fosgate, is a little bit bigger, but right here you can lift up on any, it's snapped in right now. I'm not going to unsnap everything else, but you can put cargo in here. There's also a little med kit that Nissan has included right here. Honestly, some great under the seat storage capability. So with that, let's head to the front seat. All right, fans, here's the front seat portion. Just going to briefly show you this before we take a drive. Going to show you the apportionments in the doors, some nice cup holders, nice maybe map storage over there. You do have some nice soft touch leather materials kind of right up there on the top, which is a really nice touch, again, for a truck in the mid-30s. You do have a kind of a plastic interior feel right up in here, a nice storage spot for a phone, whatever you might need to put up here. But again, for off-roading, which is what this truck is meant for, you don't need a lot of leather features. But you do have these nice seats right here, nice leather type feel right there. The Pro 4X stitched into the seats, a very nice feature. These seats do have this interesting little kind of headrest that angle forward like that. Some people don't like it, some people love it. You're going to have to be the judge. You do have dual climate control, 2 power ports right here off to the side, which is a really, really nice feature. I mentioned the rear locking differential, heated seats. You can turn it on and off your power sensors. We apologize for the light, but this is the best for the overall of the review. Traction control right there. Some more storage down in this compartment. One thing I will comment is it is nice for, again, we have a 6 Plus, the iPhone 6 Plus. You can actually fit it right into here. So that's a really nice feature. Again, for us, we find a lot in these vehicles, it's hard to find a spot to put that big phone. The 5-point-inch system that we mentioned before, which Nissan is known for, you're going to kind of have to get the feel for that. We won't go over that too much. Dual zone climate control does have a pretty nice feature. When you're not necessarily in auto, when you do adjust the temperature, it will actually change if it's going to go on from your hands and your feet to just your hand, or just to your face, just to your feet, or defrosting, depending on the temperature outside and depending on your temperature inside the cabin. Great interior controls on the steering wheel. You do have cruise control, not automatic by any means. Automatic headlights, very easy to use, easy to see gauges, very easy to operate. And then again, for the Pro 4X, which is really nice, you do have the ability to activate your full set of gears right here, 1, 2, 3, and then if you disengage overdrive, you have the ability to go into 4th gear right there. So overall, really nice features. One thing I will say, they do give you this nice little insert for cup holders, which is really nice if you have a water bottle and you don't want it to rattle around a lot. You can put that in. So with that, let's take a quick drive. At that same time, we'll give you our review, or our opinion, of the 2016 Nissan Frontier. All right, fans, here's the driving portion of the 2016 Nissan Frontier. Before we get driving, though, I want to show you one thing. That is the sunroof. Again, this is on the Pro 4X, so it does come I believe, standard with this trim package. You can get this, they've now including it on the SV trim level as well. And so we'll leave it open. It gives us some good light in here. Very, again, easy to use, simple, intuitive controls, and that, in our opinion, is what Nissan has done really, really well, is they've made these controls very intuitive, very easy to use. For those of you that are familiar with Nissan, this system will look very, very similar. It's a touch screen. It has all of your different physical buttons as needed. You can, again, go into different applications, change the night to daylight for the screen. A lot of very different, easy to use controls. A lot of physical buttons, which is a very nice feature even on the technology-driven world that we are today. It does have a backup camera and backup grid lines, so if you are hooking up a trailer, you can do that. And I'm not going to turn too much. Notice it does not have dynamic grid lines, but with the sunlight, I want to make sure that everyone can see those grid lines right there. One thing I will note, this does have the V6, the optional V6 in it, and that gives you the capability of towing up to 6,500 pounds, which, again, for those of you that are going off-roading, doing some different things in the mountains or in the hills, wherever you're at, you can certainly do that. So let's take a quick drive. And we've been able to average about 17, actually I'll check here really quick. We've been able to average, I've been able to average since my last fill up about 16, 17 miles per gallon. I believe my dad, John, was being able to average about 19, 20 miles per gallon. So kind of depending on how you're driving, where you're driving, if you get the rear-wheel drive model or if you get the four-wheel drive model, which this model is right here. I'm going to be quiet real quick as we go down this hill so you can see what it sounds like on the interior. Relatively a quiet truck on the inside. Again, you do have some of those beefier off-road tires, those enhanced shocks, so you can have a little bit rougher of a ride. However, again, I mentioned at the start of the review, we had a caller this past week who uses this to actually drive for Uber, and he gets a lot of compliments about how much people actually like this vehicle and like riding it. Even in the back seat, they think it's fantastic. Even on the road, you know how Uber can be, they want to make sure you have a smooth, comfortable ride. Most people have no issues with this at all. Very intuitive, very easy controls. I love the drive, very smooth around corners. I could actually drive this car, and I keep saying car and I should be saying truck. I could drive this truck every single day. Some may not be able to, but you're going to kind of have to be the judge. And real quick, we're going to pull over before we get to the stop sign. Like the V6, I think it gives it definitely a reasonable pick up and go, especially at our altitude. They do have a 4-cylinder option for those of you that are interested in that. But what do we think of this truck? Again, the 2016 Nissan Frontier. What are the pros for us? Great off-road capability. You're going to get a lot of features and a lot of truck for the money, which is, again, is that mid-30 price point. And if you wanted to start out less, this truck actually starts out underneath $20,000 depending upon your configuration. So really is an absolutely great buy for the money. When you compare it to its competitors, what are some things it doesn't have? It doesn't have the new makeover that Toyota has just given its truck or that Chevrolet has introduced in the past few years. It doesn't have some of the interior creature comforts that some of those have in terms of ventilated front seats and things like that. And it still has what some people would call an antiquated technology and just kind of look about it. But again, for the price of the truck and for the money, you're going to have to be the judge. Do you want to step up? Again, this is a top-of-the-line Nissan Frontier for the mid-30s. Do you want to step up for a comparable truck in its competitors and pay $10,000, $15,000 more for a similarly equipped truck? You're going to have to be the judge. Some people would say no. Some people would say yes. I want that different feel, that different look. I want the new and improved technology. You're going to have to be the judge of that. Overall, we enjoy this truck. We think it's absolutely fantastic, especially here at our altitude. You see a lot of small trucks running around, small to mid-size trucks, and it's great for the mountains. Handles that well, handles our altitude well. Really is honestly a very, very nice, very, very fun truck to drive in our opinion. If you want to learn more about this vehicle, head to your local Nissan dealer and tell them that John and Richard Rush from Drive Radio sent you.